Welcome back to K-Drama Cycle, where we bring you the stories behind the stars, the secrets behind the smiles, and the love stories that fans can't stop talking about. Today, we dive deep into a love story that has captured the imagination of millions, Yan and Tong Liya. A story that many thought was simple, but in truth, has layers of pain, healing, sacrifice, and the kind of connection that only comes once in a lifetime. This, my friends, is the truth about Yan and Tong Liya's love story, one that fans never truly knew. At first glance, Jerry and Tong Liya's bond seemed like just another celebrity friendship. They appeared together occasionally, their interactions warm but careful, leaving fans guessing about the real nature of their relationship. But behind the cameras, away from the headlines, something much deeper was unfolding. Yan, the heartthrob of Asia since his Meteor Garden days, had lived much of his life in the public eye. Fame brought him admiration, but it also brought isolation. He was adored yet often misunderstood, longing for someone who could see beyond the image of Yan the superstar. And that's where Tong Liya entered his life. Tong Liya, with her grace, resilience, and quiet strength, understood Jerry in ways few others did. She wasn't just an actress admired for her beauty and talent. She was a woman who had weathered storms of her own. From heartbreaks to struggles in her personal life, Tong Liya knew what it meant to rebuild from the ground up. Perhaps that's why Jerry found in her a kindred spirit. Sources close to the pair reveal that their connection began quietly, almost unintentionally. Conversations after long work days, encouragement exchanged when things felt overwhelming, and shared laughter that slowly built a foundation of trust. It wasn't about grand gestures or staged appearances. It was about two souls finding comfort in each other's presence. But love in the entertainment world is rarely simple. Both Jerry and Tong Liya had reputations to protect, careers that demanded caution, and families whose opinions weighed heavily. For a long time, they kept their bond hidden, fearing judgment, misunderstanding, and the endless scrutiny that celebrity relationships attract. Still, those closest to them say the love between Jerry and Tong Liya was undeniable. They shared not only affection but a vision of a future together. Jerry, once known for his hesitations in love, surprised many with his commitment. He wasn't just protective of Tong Liya, he was intentional about building a life with her. Tong Liya, on the other hand, made sacrifices that fans rarely knew about. She stepped back from certain opportunities, prioritizing her emotional well-being and the stability of her relationship. In a world that constantly demanded more from her, she chose to give her heart where it mattered most. Their love story wasn't without challenges. Rumors of breakups, whispers of third-party involvement, and speculation about Jerry's past relationships often cast shadows over their bond. Yet, every time, they found their way back to each other. Friends described them as a couple who fought hard for their love, not because it was perfect, but because it was worth it. And perhaps that's the truth fans never knew. Yan and Tong Liya's story isn't about fairy tale perfection. It's about resilience. It's about choosing love despite fear, despite judgment, despite the uncertainty of what tomorrow might bring. Today, their relationship stands as a symbol of hope for fans who have followed them for years and for anyone who has ever believed in second chances. Together, they've shown that love can be both fragile and unbreakable, private yet powerful, hidden yet undeniable. And as we look ahead, one question remains: what's next for Yan and Tong Liya? Marriage, family, or perhaps a joint project that lets the world finally see their chemistry in the spotlight? Whatever the future holds, one thing is certain: the love they share has already written itself into the hearts of millions. Because sometimes the greatest stories aren't the ones played out on screen. They're the ones lived quietly, bravely, and truthfully, just like Yan and Tong Liya's. This has been K-Drama Cycle, bringing you the untold stories behind the stars. If you've ever believed in love that defies all odds, then Yan and Tong Liya's story is one you'll never forget. Where we left off, we uncovered the foundation of Yan and Tong Liya's love story, the quiet beginnings, the sacrifices, and the challenges hidden behind closed doors. But the truth is, their journey didn't stop there. It only grew more complex, more emotional, and even more inspiring as the years went by. After Jerry and Tong Liya's connection became clear to those closest to them, both stars faced a crossroad. Jerry had always been known as someone private, often reluctant to let the world peek into his heart. Tong Liya, meanwhile, had just emerged from a difficult period in her personal life, rebuilding her strength and redefining what happiness meant to her. For them to choose each other wasn't just about love, it was about trust. And trust, in the entertainment industry, is rare. Industry insiders say that Jerry became Tong Liya's biggest pillar during her quiet battles. At times when public opinion seemed harsh, Jerry's support never wavered. He wasn't loud about it. He didn't issue public statements or grand declarations. Instead, his actions spoke louder: private visits, long conversations, and even stepping away from certain opportunities just to be present for her. For a man who had often been seen as elusive in relationships, this was different. This was commitment. Tong Liya, on the other hand, brought out a side of Jerry Yan that fans had rarely seen. Known for his cool, sometimes distant persona, Jerry softened around her. Friends close to them recall how his laughter came easier, how his usual guardedness seemed to melt away whenever she was near. Tong Liya didn't just love Jerry the actor, she loved Jerry the man, with all his vulnerabilities, his scars, and his quiet longing for family. But with every step forward, the shadows of the past tried to pull them back. Rumors about Jerry's history with former flames resurfaced. Speculations about Tong Liya's readiness to start fresh began swirling in online forums. Tabloids hinted at possible clashes between their families, questioning whether a union between two stars of such magnitude could ever truly last. And yet, through it all, they held on. One of the most touching moments, according to those in their circle, happened during a small, private gathering. Jerry, usually reserved, reportedly became emotional while talking about Tong Liya. He admitted that for years, he didn't think he was capable of building a stable future with someone. But with her, everything changed. He didn't just see love, he saw a home. That moment, whispered quietly among friends, revealed the depth of his devotion. For Jerry Yan, Tong Liya wasn't just a partner. She was the answer to years of searching, years of waiting for the kind of love that doesn't fade with fame or distance. Tong Liya, too, made her devotion clear. Those who know her say she quietly began making choices that prioritized stability over constant work. While she never abandoned her career, she was intentional about balancing her schedule. Her goal was simple: to carve out space for the life she and Jerry were building. For someone who had lived much of her life under pressure, this was a declaration of love in itself. And as word of their relationship grew, so did the reactions from fans. At first, there was shock. After all, Jerry Yan, the eternal bachelor of Asia, with Tong Liya, the elegant star who had been through her own storms, wasn't a pairing anyone had predicted. But soon, that shock turned into overwhelming support. Fans began describing them as soulmates, with some even calling their bond a story of fate, two people who had to walk through pain separately before finding healing together. But here's where the story takes a deeper turn. Jerry and Tong Liya weren't just building a romance. They were building resilience against an industry that often breaks couples apart. Both knew the risks of going public. Both knew the pressure that would come with every headline, every photo, every appearance. And yet, according to those closest to them, they made a quiet pact. No matter what the world says, no matter how loud the noise gets, they would choose each other. Every single time. That promise, simple yet powerful, became the backbone of their love story. Today, as fans look at Jerry Yan and Tong Liya, they don't just see a couple. They see hope. They see what it means to find love after heartbreak, what it means to stand together even when the world is watching, and what it means to write a love story not for the cameras, but for themselves. And so, the truth about Jerry Yan and Tong Liya's love story is this: it's not a fairy tale written overnight. It's a journey of patience, sacrifice, resilience, and above all, unshaken love. But the question remains, what's next for Jerry and Tong Liya? Will their quiet pact soon lead to wedding bells? Will they take the bold step of starting a family, letting the world witness a new chapter of their bond? Or will they continue to protect their love in the private spaces of their lives, keeping the deepest truths only for themselves? One thing is certain. Their story, once hidden in whispers and speculation, now shines as one of the most powerful examples of love in the entertainment world. Because at its heart, Yan and Tong Liya's journey proves something timeless, that true love may bend, but it never breaks. This is K-Drama Cycle, and this is the story fans will never forget.